Grief doesn't follow a calendar, and the holidays are no exceptions to feelings of grief. Here to talk about coping strategies is UW Health nurse practitioner Chrissy Miller. Chrissy Miller, thank you so much for joining us today. And we're going to talk a little bit more about coping with grief, especially during the holiday seasons. And so I just kind of wanted to jump straight into it and kind of ask you what it is about the holidays, that maybe amplify grief for some people.
That's a great question. The holidays are a time of celebration and social gatherings. And when people see other seemingly complete families or friend groups, or when they're attending these gatherings, it can really highlight a person's loss or absence, which can be very triggering.
Right, yeah. And why is it, so I guess the question is, so important to recognize your feelings and, maybe not push them away during the holidays. The holidays is a very stressful time of year. So maybe people think the best option is just to push those feelings away. And I'm assuming that's probably not the right idea.
It's not. It's instinctual to want to push away from pain, but the reality of the situation is pushing away isn't going to make the feelings go away. And if you can recognize your feelings, it helps you process those feelings, which then helps you move through the grief process and towards healing.
Right. And what are maybe some strategies or maybe practices people can do during the holidays when they are starting to feel maybe more emotional or experiencing grief?
They can do different coping skills such as journaling, meditation, deep breathing, grounding techniques. It's also important to remain pretty firm in your boundaries, especially with social commitments. And you can also memorialize the person and remember them by doing things like lighting a candle, leaving a place at the table, maybe doing a special ornament or decoration, making a favorite recipe. There's tons of ideas.
Right. Yeah. And what about, one of my questions is, making commitments during the holidays is, should they feel, that pressure like, oh, I have to go or I have to do this? How do you recognize, when it's okay to, maybe just take a step back and take some time for yourself?
It's difficult to recognize that, and I think people often feel obligated to commit to things, but it's important to recognize when you're feeling overwhelmed or even when you're feeling just drained and don't have the energy to maybe attend some of these gatherings. And it's okay, and give yourself the grace and permission to say no to certain commitments if it's going to have a negative impact.
Right. Yeah. And let's say maybe even if your friends are family, and you're witnessing one of your friends or family, dealing with grief, what can they offer or maybe even do to kind of support, that person during that time?
It's always really hard, but a lot of times people who are in the grief process are in a state of functional freeze and they don't always know what they need or want. So my recommendation is to always offer something specific, such as instead of saying, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Maybe say something like, what's one thing I can do to help you today? Can I pick your kids up from school? Can I pick up your groceries? Can we put this holiday craziness behind us and can I just take you out to lunch?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the holidays can be a very stressful time. So I appreciate you being able to come on here today and talk to us, just giving us those basic tips, to deal with grief during the holidays. But yeah, again, it was so nice talking to you and meeting you, and I hope to maybe speak with you again here soon.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you, Chrissy.